Hello guys, today let's discuss how to make this BP grouping as mandatory. So in my previous session I have discussed about making some of the simple validations and simple derivations. Here we are going to discuss on derivations which are not some of them are not possible by using BRF method. So suppose this one. So name one should always be converted into capital letters. So whenever user gives any name one value which is even in small letters, it should be always converted into capital letters. So this one we cannot do it through BRF plus. So we can only use badi from this one is easier through badi, and this one we can also do it through BRF plus, and also we can do easily through badi, and this one we can make it easily. So let's finish these four validations. So before starting it, let's divide these into different parts. So we have to understand how to make BP grouping as mandatory. So as we all know, BP grouping belongs to BP header entity. So whenever we create a new change request, BP header will get triggered because this is type 1 entity and always link it to change request directly. And now we let's check this one. So if BP grouping is internal number, then name one is mandatory. So here this BP grouping belongs to BP grouping belongs to BP header. Name one belongs to BP central. So this is not just easy one. This is like cross entity. So these two are two different entities. So if BP group based on BP grouping number, we have to make properties dynamically for this one. So name one in BP central should be mandatory if BP grouping is internal number. So this is one option, and this is also similar one. So if BP grouping is this one, then title we have to make it as mandatory. Next one, name one should always be converted into capital letters. That means suppose in this one we have did assigned BP grouping to internal number assignment 3000. So if this is there, so if this is given, then we have to make title is mandatory. So in this case, if this is mentioned, it has to show a validation that title is mandatory for this BP grouping. And after that number name one, even if we give small letters, it after clicking on enter button, it should be again get converted into capital letters. So that is the requirement. These are the set of requirements which are going to discuss now, and let's dive in. uh, so okay, I am going to start from check entity badi. So check entity method. Now first we have to make BP grouping as mandatory. So generally BP grouping we can make, if it is mandatory, let's make based on mm, without using any CR type as a filter. So let's directly come and start coding in. So we have to understand at first in any CR belongs to business partner, BP header will get triggered first. So BP header will get triggered. So always I will use if id entity type equal to BP header. So instead of using BP header because it will get hard coded, I am just using SAP provided interface. So if underscore mdg underscore bp underscore constants. So I don't want to hard code now. I just want to use as per industry standard. So in this we can see GC BP model entity. So in this all entity names will be there which are given by SAP by standard. So BP header we can find here BP. So this is BP header. So I am using this, and inside this I am just closing end if. Now every time we use a if condition, always end if should be enclosed, and after that we have to start. So whenever entity type is BP header, we have to make BP grouping as mandatory. So to get BP grouping, we have to always use this IT data as the main one. Other things are all just for this change request number. It is not much required in this case. It is only required when we want to read some data from CR, or else this is also same case. And this addition concept, it doesn't necessary, it is not even necessary for our data model. This is required only for finance data model addition concept. So let's start now. I am using IT data. So loop at IT data into, now this is of type any. So if any type is used, it may not accept this type of symbols, data, this type of syntaxes. It may cause runtime exceptions. So I will use field symbols here. So we don't have any chance now. We have to use field symbols only here. So I am removing this data and I am using assigning field symbol ls data. So I am using this field symbol. Now this field symbol will point towards first line. So in IT data, if we are using only single BP in the CR, only one line will be coming into the scenario. So one line will come in this, that line will be added here. So we are reading the structure which is dynamically produced by the MDG system. So we have to understand from MDG perspective, we have to go into MDG IMG and we can visualize the data model business partner. So go inside and edit data model. So here we can see visualize data model for business partner. So from this we can understand BP header is having BU group. So we have to use this structure. So the structure will have these components, all 5 components here in the runtime. So BP header we already know. So BU group is the one which we have to read, and if it is empty, then we have to send a email, if it is empty, we have to send a message to the user by using this exporting table. So let's do that. Here we have to use this syntax assign component. So because this is generic data type, we have to use this type of field symbols. So assign component, and then we have to use that component name. That component name is BU group. So assign component BU underscore group of structure. So we have to give structure now. Of structure ls data, the one which is here. Now to field symbol. So which field symbol we have to use now? LV BU group. So we are getting that field, the name BP grouping value inside this. So as of now we don't know the integral value of BU grouping. So that one we need to identify first. So let's go into SPRO configuration, and here SAP reference IMG, and here we can go into cross application components, and then SAP business partner, here business partner basic settings, here we can get number ranges, and we can click here define groupings and assign number ranges. So here we will get all the ones which we are seeing in this UI. So we got this internal number assignment 3000. So let's note this 3000 value here that will be used for programming. Value is 3000 in the system. Now is internal number. So if it is internal number, then name one is mandatory. Let's find internal number here. So here we found out now 2019 is the value. So 2019 we are noting here. Let's go to program. Now we are reading BU group. Now we have to check LV. First we have to check if it is assigned or not. This is common practice we have to follow as a developer. Now LV BU group, if it is assigned or not, is assigned, and end if as convention. Now if it is assigned, we have to check if it is initial or not. So if LU BU group is initial, so if it is initial, then we have to send a message to the user, error message. So if it is initial, we have to tell user that BU group is mandatory. So to do that, there are two ways. We can create a message in SC91, or else we can use a class which is provided by SAP. So instead of doing that message, I am just using that class provided by SAP. So that class I am just using it directly. So it will come from practice. So LCL USMD message. Now inside this we are having the one which we require. So here we have to use this one. So as we see, this is receiving a message type. So this will return the message of USMD S message. So this is matching with USMD T message, and it is also having line type as USMD S message. So both are having same data type. So this can be used perfectly here. Now message type, it is error, and message text, what we can store this message text in text elements, and we can assign here. So let's create the text element now. Text symbol, first one as BP business partner grouping is mandatory. So this is fine. I am just saving this, activating this. Now I am using this text symbol. So here we can see 001. So instead of hard coding there, we can use text minus 001 directly to represent this whole text. So I am doing same thing there. text minus 001. Now it will anyway receive this USMD message, so I don't need to write here. The other option is, easiest option is to remove that receiving parameter, and instead we can directly use this entire one as it receives that type of message. We can directly use append to. So this exporting parameter is responsible for sending messages to user. So et message, that's it. So let's check this one. It is not type compatible. So we have to change text001 into this data type. So we can do type conversion now. So let's do type conversion. So double click this. This is type string. So we have to send a string data type into this, but this is not string data type. So to convert into string, we have to use conv, conversion into string. So now we can see this has been converted in the line itself without using any complex code. So this is ABAP 7.40. Now let's do another one. So this code has been done now. Make BP grouping as mandatory. Now we have to use this one. So if BP grouping is internal number, then we have to use this one. So let's start doing that. To do that, we have to close this one. So it is already closed. So let's do for next entity type. So if id entity type equal to, so this entity type we have to use another one here. So I'm just copying this because it will have same interface, and at last we have to use BP central. So BP central CENTRAL. So this one is BP central. So I am just reducing hard coding, guys, directly by using standard given interfaces. Now because BP central, when it gets triggered, we will get this type of structure while debugging. Let's check BP central here. So inside BP central we will have name1, name2, name of organization and all. So here we can see name of organization 1, name of organization 2. These we can check now. So name underscore arg1. So before doing that one, first of all we have to read what is there in the BU group. Let's check let's read what is there in the BU group now. So to do that, we have to use a new method that will be bit difficult to understand as a beginner, but after doing again and again, it will be easier to understand. So because it is provided by SAP, we have to know how to use it. So we have to use IO model now. So after double clicking this IO model IXT, inside that interface we will have some useful methods here. So here we have to go to an important method, read entity data all. This is one important method which we can use most frequently to get that details in the CR type. So in this particular CR, in this change request, what is the data entered by the user? That one we can check here. So let's go back and first let's do understand that. So in IO model, read entity data all. So we are going to use this, and here in field name we have to use type 1 entity always. So type 1 entity, what is the type 1 entity here? Always BP header is the type 1 entity most of the cases. So here also it is BP header only, so I am giving this. So instead of using this hard coded method, I am just using inside this. So until GC I will copy and paste here. Because this is field name, we cannot use entity name from this one because it will cause type conversion error. So GC underscore we have to use field. So inside this, to give BP header we can give this one here. So now we haven't done hard coding here. We are just using SAP provided one, and if active always, because this is always false in this case. So if it is activated, it will be in active area. So we don't need to use this type of methods. We can use tables in that case. Now here it will ask I underscore C request. So let's give change request number. So for that reason only he is giving us IDC request here for free. So we have to use that ID underscore C request. Now in IT selection we have to give table conditions. Now I will give IT entity filter value. So before doing that we have to check what is IT entity filter value. So go into this, double click. So IT entity filter is of type USMD entity T entity. So I am just copying it and I am pasting at the top of the program data. So I have pasted that, and we don't need to give that optional, but we have to mention name of the filter. So here I am mentioning as LT entity filter. So LT entity filter. Now LS entity filter type will have USMD underscore entity. So not S entity, USMD underscore entity we have to use here. That's it. So as it is direct value, we don't need to give as ls entity. So lv entity I am giving here. Now we have to append this one into table and then pass that parameter there. So now let's understand what is going on here. So we are trying to read the data of depending on the entities. So first we have to read the data which is coming from BU group. So if it is coming from BU group, we have to first read what is coming from BU group. So BU group belongs to type 1 entity called BP header. So we have to give same thing LV underscore entity filter equal to BP header. So instead of giving that entire thing, I am just using this one entity name directly. and appending same thing into append lv entity filter to lt entity filter. So I'm just using this. Now I'm uncommenting this and then lt entity filter. Now this we don't need to use here. Now importing, we have to get the data from this one. So we are going to get the data by using this one. So lt data entity. So from this we have to read the data. Now let's check how that data will be. Go into this, double click. Now et data entity will be in this format. So go into this and it will be USMD SX data entity in this format. Double click this and this is going to return this USMD entity, USMD CONT, and this is a type of structure it will return. So this structure is of table. Now this table is going to return. So first, because this is a table, we have to use read table. So read table lt data entity with key. So we have to give which key we have to check. With key USMD entity equal to BP header. So we can use this one again. So for new people it might be bit confusing, but while debugging you can understand what is happening here. So we are getting a table here, we are going to read a particular line in this table. So for that reason only I am using this. Anyway, when we are checking, in most of the cases this table will have only one condition, only one row, but in some situations where contact persons are being used, in that case only we will get more than one line. So we have to consider those. And USMD entity CONT equal to we don't need to give anything here, it will be space because there is no type for entity in this case. And structure we can use as KATTR. This is a key attribute structure. This is the shortcut in SAP. So we have to always remember using this. Even if we don't use in debugger, you can identify this one. So I am reading this into data ls data entity. Now ls data entity is having type ref2. So as we have seen this data typing, so it will return as table. Now I am converting this table by reading into a structure. So that structure will be in this format. So from this structure we have to take a particular one which is very useful. So we already filtered these three by using KATTR and space and then BP header. So this is the remaining one. This is the most important one which we can use for reading data which is from CR type, which is from CR change request. So RT data, let's go back and because so RT data it is of type ref2. So type ref2 we cannot directly use it. We have to always dereference this by using dereferencing operator which we are going to use it now. So now dereference operator we are going to use. So ls, so I'm directly using dereferencing now. Assign ls data entity in this rt data data. So this is dereferencing operator to this rt data is a table type. Here we should not give fit field symbol directly. So instead let's give lt rt data. So this field symbol I haven't declared yet, but we know this is of type table because we know from this one this is of type table which will always return. So I am just going top and maintaining field symbols lt no type any table. So I'm just mentioning this. So everywhere we have to be careful here because if ls data entity is empty, if sy sub rc equal to 0, if it is equal to 0, only then we have to do all this. So and if again we have to check after assignment also if lt or t data is assigned. So if this one is assigned, then only we have to execute below code. And if now here after dereferencing this particular operator, this type ref2 will get converted into direct data type. So we can directly tell the system loop at lt rt data assigning field symbol lt ls rt data. So we don't need again end loop. So after ending this loop, here we already know this LRT data, it will be exactly same as the one which we are seeing here. So these all attributes will be there in that structure. So name arg1 is the name of the organization, and here as we are reading from this one we have to get BU group. So assign component BU group of structure ls rt data to field symbol lv bu group. So as we have used LVBU group here previously. We should not declare this again. So I'm just removing this. So we can directly check now if LVBU group is assigned. Let's close this, and if that business partner grouping is assigned, we have to read that business partner grouping here itself. So if it is assigned, what we have to do? If now we have to check this condition. So let's go here and check if it is 2019, then what to do. So if LVBU group is equal to, we can use EQ or else equal to 2019, then what we have to do? So I am just leaving empty now. Else if LVBU group equal to, so 3000, then what we have to do? Those things I am just keeping blank now, and end if. Now if 2019 is there, then what is our requirement? So if 2019 is there, then name 1 is mandatory. So that means we are already in BP central data. So we can use IT data because we haven't used until now. We have to use IT data now. So assign. So first we have to do looping. Loop at IT data assigning ls data. So end loop. So inside this, let's assign again. So ls data is a structure. So assign component. So in ls data, what will be there? Let's see. In ls data, name of organization 1, name underscore org1, assign component name underscore org1, our structure ls data to field symbol lv. Now we will get name here, lv name org1. So this entire thing, because we have to use here also, we can use this one directly. I'm just cutting here and pasting at the start of this BP central. So paste here. Now I will assign another component. So if name of organization, and then we have to check title. So assign component. So what is the title here? Title. So if we are not finding it fast, I am just typing title here. So title we got here. So this is AD name P. So another title is title underscore BP. So this is inside BP central. So we have to consider this title. So let's use title underscore BP here. Title underscore BP. Our structure ls data to field symbol LV title BP. So I used all this. So after using both of them, so end loop I'm going to use at the end of the program. End loop. So let's see pretty printer. Okay, no syntax errors until now. Now we have to check for this one if it is assigned or not, and for this one also it is assigned or not. We have to check that. So if LV name arg1 is assigned, then after loop we have to do again end if. So in the same way again after title we have to check. These are standard LV title BP is assigned. End if. So until now there is no syntax error. Now so we are getting name of organization and title both of them. So if 2019 is the BU group, then we are having requirement like if 2019 then name one is mandatory. So now we have to check this condition. So if name of arg1 is assigned, if LV name of arg1 equal to is initial, if this is initial, then what we have to do? We have to tell to the system that this is mandatory. Now let's tell the system append cl underscore usmd underscore message. In this we are going to have convert text to message to et underscore message. So uncomment this. Now we have to convert the table into string format, string text. So text symbol, text element 002, which I am going to declare now. Now another one is just copy paste here. Here instead of name of organization title is initial, append this into 003. So this pretty printer, it is not working properly. I am going to adjust that. Settings, pretty printer, we have to activate indentation on OK. So now it has been activated. Now it looks fine. All looks OK. Now only things are pending are text symbol we have to create. So text symbol 002 we have to make name of organization is mandatory. Now activate this, go back. and again we have to maintain this one. So title is mandatory. So this is also done. Save this, activate this, go back and pretty printer. So what else is remaining? Name one should always be converted into capital letters. This one, first of all, activate this, go back, go to derive entity. So because we have to take the following value and then convert this value into uppercase letters. So that is the meaning. So name one is always comes from BP central level. So here if id entity type equal to, so BP central, if I am using, right, so I am using this BP constants and then GC BP model entity, and in this I have to use BP central, so CENTRAL, this one. So if it is same as this, now we have to make this as, so if it is BP model entity central, then loop at CT data into, not into assigning field symbol, because we have to change the data here. That is most important one. So if we change field symbol value, the corresponding data inside CT data will also get changed. It is like a pointer. It will point towards the data in this. So here into field symbol ls data. Now I am just ending this loop. Now we have to get name one. So name one means name of organization one, assign component name underscore arg1 of structure ls data to field symbol. So now also we have to send to field symbol only, because we are sending from field symbol to field symbol. That means if we are changing this data will get changed. That means that data which is going outside of this function will also get changed. So that is the required one. So here also ls, now also we have to use field symbol only, lv name underscore arg1. So here also we have to use field symbol only, because this field symbol is pointing towards this. If this is pointing towards this field symbol, automatically when we are changing this value, the value inside CT data will also get changed accordingly. That is what we are going to manipulate that data by using this program. So anyway, after assigning a field symbol, we have to do this one, lv name arg1 is assigned. So first we have to check if it is assigned or not. After that only we have to make other things. So if this is assigned, only then, so name, if, so we have to do conversion of lowercase to uppercase and uppercase to uppercase. That means totally we have to capitalize. For that we have one option in SAP, translate lv name arg1 to uppercase. So if we are checking this, and so I have activated this without any errors. So we are translating this into uppercase. So it has to work fine. Let's check now. So we have forgotten a main one which we have to maintain. So let's go back and we have to maintain filter values correctly. So here we don't need AD postal now. We have to change it to BP central. Now let's check the output. So first I am clicking on check button. It is showing business partner grouping is mandatory. So this is coming as expected. Test. Let's give any value here. So I am just giving internal number. Now it will ask name of organization is mandatory. So this name one, if we maintain it, it will get disappeared. So after maintaining it, it will get disappeared. Suppose if I give small letters San Francisco. Now I am clicking on enter button. It is converting into uppercase. So that's why the derivation is working. This is done and this is done. Now this got triggered. Name 1 is mandatory. Name of organization is mandatory. Now let's check. Change that internal number assignment to 3000 and check. So it will show title is mandatory. So let's assign any title here. Now let's check. No errors found. So we have finished all these requirements. Now all the rules are working as expected. So thank you guys for listening.